He's the voice you hear all the time, and if you're watching the Ravens and Steelers this Sunday, you'll hear him on the call. Let's bring on Jim Nantz.
Well, hello,
Jim,
friends. How are you?
We are doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Man, you got me so stoked just listening to your whole impassioned speech about sports and where it falls in the American culture, man. It was some good stuff right there. It was biblical. I loved it.
We just had Brandon Stokely on, caught the touchdown
Brandon.
in Super Bowl 35. And he also told us that Peyton Manning, according to him, was the reason he got benched back in 2003, Zach. Is that what we were saying?
Yeah, we think week 16, 2003.
Week 6, but Peyton won't admit to it. But the part of it all, right, it's the stories. You tell the story as good as anybody on air.
You're too kind.
We'll get to that, but I want to start off with this. Come from a baseball family. When you play in the professional ranks, people have a bunch of minor league stories. It's kind of like, hey, welcome to the world of professional sports. You've had so many experiences over the year, but do you have a Jim Nantz story that takes us back to maybe where your journey began that still sticks with you till this day?
Oh, those days never leave you. First off, Ryan, Zach, it's great to be on with you guys. So I'm so fired up about coming up to Baltimore this weekend. I know both of these teams aren't playing great, but there's still time for these two coaches to figure it out, and maybe not only, of course, one of them is going to win the division, unless there's something really bizarre with Cincinnati. But the roots of it all never leave you. To your point, the minor league days, if you will. Those days for me started when I was in college at the University of Houston. I was to tag along to the University of Houston basketball program, which is really sizzling right now under Kelvin Sampson. But back in my days, it was a time called Phi Slamma Jamma. And I was the student public address announcer. I hosted the coaches show. It was really my gateway into the business was through the Houston basketball program. So I remain very tethered to that team and that program, loving those days. But when I graduated college, I had already compiled a lot of experience, vast experiences, from anchoring on the CBS affiliate in the fourth largest market to calling high school football games, doing all sorts of things. And lo and behold, I got this opportunity to go out to Utah to audition at the CBS affiliate there, KSL. And I ended up winning the audition. And with it, not only was there anchoring, but it was there was game action. So when I was 23 and just a little bit removed from college, I was calling the Utah Jazz games in the NBA. So I was in the NBA way ahead of my time, and that was valuable. And I was calling BYU football and basketball games on television. So I was amassing some practical experience that would serve me well later on. The dream for me always, I have to tell you, Ryan, the dream was always to work specifically for CBS. I mean, I since I was 11 years old, all I ever talked about was I wanted to work for CBS. I liked the way they presented the NFL, and I loved the way they presented the Masters, and I want to be a part of that. So I obsessed about it all through my teen years, all through my college years. And lo and behold, I get hired by the CBS TV affiliate in Houston, CBS affiliate in Salt Lake City. And after 2 years there, just again, not that far removed from college, I got a call out of the blue to come to New York and audition against 4 other prospects, and I won the audition. Fortunately for me, that was 1985, before you boys were even a thought in your parents' minds. But I've loved every minute of it, man.
I love hearing that this is a goal that you had set out, that when you are younger, sometimes you think that your dreams can be too big or they can be unrealistic or you don't know how to get there. Now, when I grew up, I wanted to be a professional baseball player. That's all I knew. That was my dad's job, and I wanted to have the job that my dad had. And you get a little older, and I'm sure you realized along your journey and process, you're like, it's pretty damn hard to get to that goal. And you might not get there, but you have to give yourself the opportunity. And I felt that way with my career. It didn't work out the way that I hoped playing now in the media space. But for you, I think that it's really great to see that even though you are one of the most humble people I've heard out there, and even how you described your journey, you worked and grinded your way to where you had, and it was the dedication. And I think that is one of the coolest experiences. And I think that's why so many people relate to you in this whole sporting world. And they feel so comfortable, as you would say, as they were being welcomed into the homes each Sunday or whatever it may be. It's because you can relate a lot to the audience. With that being said, on the football side, Jim,
yeah,
this is a strange year, and you've explained, you've been around and you've seen, it felt like almost everything. Could you put your finger on maybe this NFL season where the likes of the Chiefs and the Bills have had their struggles, the Ravens led by Harbaugh and Tomlin, Lamar Jackson, some of these favorites, both in the AFC and NFC, might not be in the picture, but it's been an exciting season nonetheless. Is there anything that reminds you over the years of what we're kind of seeing right now, that there truly is no favorite, in my opinion, throughout the entire National Football League?
I've never seen anything like it. First off, I've never truly, and I've been calling NFL games since the late 80s, over 500 now. That is so upside down, and that's not to disparage the people that are on top. And I don't know what to chalk it up to. Some of it's injuries. I mean, I really don't think that in your case there in Baltimore with the Ravens, the health issue is so massive, so significant. That explains that. Kansas City's a different story. I mean, Mahomes has been upright the whole year. Travis hasn't missed any games. Rice joined them late because of the suspension, but by and large, they've been able to get through it without significant injuries. I've just done 4 games in a row with the Chiefs. That's kind of, every other week I'm with them, it feels like, on average.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. But it's almost like, though, it has triggered all these other reactions. Like, hey, if they can beat the Chiefs, well, then we can beat this team, because these are upstarts. I mean, New England rattling off this win streak and sitting on top of that division, I didn't see it coming. I mean, I love Mike Vrabel, and I think Drake May is going to be terrific. Same thing with Denver. And I've seen both of these teams now because we're primarily the AFC network. But it feels like they're feeding off one another, and the whole pyramid is kind of just flipped. Now, here's the question. You're kind of at the point where now it's so serious, and there's a little margin for error. Kansas City probably has to win out, and I think they could do it. I don't know, though, that they have it in their belly this year to do it. Maybe they will. Mm-hmm. It's a mystery. It's such an enigma to me. They look like they have all the parts. They've got a great set of receivers. The running back situation is what it is, kind of the same it's been. Kareem Hunt, Pacheco's back. I don't get it. But we're going to get into the playoffs. And I said this last week. I had Pittsburgh Buffalo coming after the Dallas Thanksgiving Day game. One of these teams that's solid, that's been there, take your Ravens. Take Buffalo. You're going to get into these January playoff games, and they're going to be, well, the Ravens win the division. They're going to get a home game, obviously. But I think they're going to be a difficult out because they've been tested. Their coaches and their staff have been tested. Take whatever. I'll take Buffalo as an example. I'll take the onus off of John Harbaugh right now, who I love. You take them. Take Buffalo. No Ed Oliver. They got parts that are missing that almost make it really hard for them to be who they were last year or the year before that. However, they might just get this just right with Kansas City in the rearview mirror on them, and maybe not even in the playoffs, where they've got to say to themselves, hey, we got to go on the road now as a wild card team. They're not out of the division yet. We got to go on the road now, and we got to go play New England again on the road, or at Denver, wherever, or at the AFC South champion. No, we can handle this. They've got to be thinking that. So I think the playoffs going to be really bizarre. I don't know that's going to go according to seed. And I think one of these teams, and it could be the Ravens, you get Lamar healthy and get this team on a little bit of a roll, they're going to be a tough out. And these young upstarts that are, with rosters that haven't gotten the experience of being in the postseason, it's going to be a big assignment for them.
It's interesting to see, and I'm glad that I'm not the only one that's thinking this just seems unfamiliar. So I appreciate you making me not feel like I'm completely crazy. I might be crazier in different ways, Jim, but at least not in this case.
No, you're okay.
So thank you for keeping my sanity. Before I let you get out of here, 25 years since the Ravens won their first Super Bowl. 30 years they've been an organization here in Baltimore. You've seen a lot of games. Are there any moments for you, and I have an idea of at least one, but that maybe you remember over the years when it comes to this Baltimore Ravens team?
Man, there's a million because, I called the game down in New Orleans, the Blackout Bowl, the Harbaugh Bowl. I've called those AFC Championship games. I was down at Tampa as the studio host of the NFL Today when they won the title down there, Super Bowl 35, I guess it was. But I think maybe there's two things that I hope I have enough time. I'm going to try to condense this story. Both have to do with trophy presentations, not about calling the games. And I've called dozens upon dozens of Ravens games. I've always loved working with that organization. One was when they won the AFC title up at Gillette Stadium. We did the trophy presentation in the locker room. And O.J. Brigance was the one who presented the trophy to his teammates. And you can't imagine the complications that you went through, not me, but everybody involved, to get OJ to do that. OJ, I love OJ. He's a dear friend of mine. I love him. I cannot wait to see him on Sunday. And Chandra, too. His amazing wife. He's a hero to me. But we were in this locker room, and it's bedlam. They're just beating the mighty Patriots in their building. Suddenly you have to get an entire locker room to be completely silent, pin drop silent. And, I'm up on the riser with John and Steve Bisciotti and Dick's up there too, the Cass, and of course OJ. OJ's already loaded into his computer, which will speak for him in Morgan Freeman's voice. And I had to, once everybody got the room kind of under control, I was hearing 20 seconds to James Brown's going to throw it to you. And I gave this team, victorious, raucous, euphoric, a 10-second, here's what we're about to do. And we've got to be able to hear what OJ has presented and wants to communicate to you guys. So stand by, and there's a stage manager, and go. And I try to explain to an audience this was going to be a unique trophy presentation. And I put the microphone, I thought I had one here on my desk, but I put the microphone right there outside the computer audio output. I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. That was special to me. It's really, truly one of the highlights of my career, to be able to share that moment, try to lead the Ravens through that moment. And the other one, Ryan, Zach, was giving the trophy away in New Orleans. Okay? And when I'm standing there on the platform, I'm looking down and I see OJ on the field. And I'm there with the commissioner and everything. And now there's one rule, as you know, never give the microphone up, right? Because he who holds the microphone controls the network. So I'm holding the CBS 150 million people watching at this time with the mic flag, and I bring in Ray Lewis. I bring in Ray. And I get his comments. Ray immediately takes my hand and just grabs the microphone, or tries to grab the microphone away from me, and I'm holding on for dear life. If you ever go back and look at that sequence, you will see me pulling. I am arm wrestling the great Ray Lewis on national television, and I played him to a standstill. He did not do that. He did not rip it out of my hands. With all my might, I was able to somehow hold on, and be there for that moment. No, there have been many. There have been many. You know, it was funny when you said that. I don't know. You got 10 seconds for another one?
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
I just want to be respectful of your time, Jim. You can stay as long as you need to.
Thank you. I was at M&T Bank Stadium during COVID, and you might remember the Ravens signed Dez Bryant. Remember that? Dez finished his career as a Raven. Well, that was in that bizarre time where you called the games, there were no fans, but you put in crowd noise into your calls to give that feeling that there was excitement. Anyway, it was so quiet inside the stadium, and the Ravens sideline was on our side of the field. And we're in a commercial break. I'm talking to the producer back and forth. All of a sudden, I see Tony's got his headset off. He's talking to someone below. Now, our booth's a little bit lower at M&T Bank Stadium. But I'm telling you, this is what it was like calling games during COVID. He was carrying on a conversation with Dez, who was on the sideline, like his voice was at a level that I am right now. You're calling an NFL game, but during commercial, it's like, Tony, hey, Dez, how you doing? Yeah, when you coming back home after the season? Yeah, I mean, it's not like, hey, Dez, what's going on? I mean, it was that quiet. That was the backdrop. It almost doesn't even seem real now that we lived through that. But I'll never forget being inside that stadium. It is so raucous, so crazy, so amped up. But during COVID, Tony had a conversation, low intensity, audio-wise, discussion with Dez during timeouts. That's how bizarre it was. I don't know why those came to mind, but man, there are many. I love the facility, by the way. I know you guys have been over there before.
Yeah.
I try to talk them into making that a dual purpose place at the facility and building a little short par 3 course. I actually designed it one time for them where you could during the off season, you could actually have a 9-hole course that you could have certain distances. First hole's 52 yards representing Ray. You could have, there are all kinds of numbers you could play with. And it would route it around a little bit on the perimeter into the interior and coming right back. I mean, it looks like a clubhouse anyway. The place is gorgeous. Yeah. Anyway, that was my first golf course design, and didn't get off the ground.
So what I'm understanding through these stories is that you're a golf architect and you also are a arm wrestler.
Yes.
To go along with broadcaster.
Only against the best. Yes, I am a golf course. I do love golf course architecture. I have a hole in my backyard at my home in California. You may have seen a video or two about that through the years. And I'm currently at a home in Nashville that I built another one in the backyard here. It sounds over the top. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. And someone heard me talk about my love of golf course architecture. So now I'm actually involved in a golf course under construction in Minnesota right now as a golf course design consultant. It's going to be called Tipatonka. And I've loved that. I've made 5 site visits. I'm, getting dirt under the nails and really trying to do my part, working with an incredible architectural team from Australia, OCM. And I know, to stay out of their way by and large, but it's been fun shaping, being involved in shaping something like that. It's a little tiny side hobby for me. So I like it. And I like it because you can tell a story. I'm getting back to what you were talking about before I came on. It's about storytelling. Everything is about storytelling. Your story is about storytelling. And when I said goodbye at the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago, after 30-something years, well, tilt this up. 32 years. That's the glare's got me. That was given to me by Raft and Grant Hill and Tracy Wilson. The last thing I said is that everybody has a story to tell. And it's our job, whether we're broadcasters or just citizens, to find out what other people's stories really are. Because we all have something that drives us. We want people to think this is who we are. We all have a story. Try to find out what makes somebody special, what it is that they're seeking with their story, and be kind. That's how I waltzed off the stage, camera left, and said goodbye to the NCAA tournament.
One of these days, Jim, I would hope down the stretch when you have time, I'd love to hear more of your stories, because what I loved of you saying with the Ravens and everything you just mentioned, it's not about what in people's minds are the most iconic. It's what stood out in moments to you. And that's what makes this all special throughout the years. And I'd love to have that conversation with you a different time. When I looked at my dad's streak growing up, he doesn't sometimes look at the actual streak. He'll remember a game that would be, game 1,231 instead of 2,131, So that's the messaging here that I love. And, that's what makes it special. And OJ, by the way, I want to say that great man, great family. And I'm glad that that's a moment that sticks with you. And obviously, he's been so ingrained in this Baltimore community for years, and he's going to continue to have that for years to come. So, Jim, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, I got to miss you for this Sunday. Got to go down to the winter meetings with baseball. We got to cover both. It's, that's my second career getting off the ground, but safe travels here. Hope you enjoy your time, and I look forward to the next time we get to speak.
I really enjoyed it. Congratulations to you guys. I know you're crushing it, and I really love being on the show. You got me, again, super stoked for the weekend. And the next time I have a Ravens home game, and it maybe will be in January in the playoffs, please come by the booth, okay? Both of you.